Hi everybody, welcome to, I hope it's a special video. We are in Berlin, on the outskirts of Berlin, right on the edge of the B zone. So you are in the B zone if you come here. I took some finding out for myself as well. Trying to find the grave of Nico. If you are in Berlin and want to do this, get the 218 bus to here. Now Google Maps doesn't think this bus exists, but Apple saved me. Google Maps wanted me to do about an hour hike to get here, but you get on this bus and hopefully it's just a little stroll up here. Don't know what any of these signs mean, but I hope I'm allowed in here. Really excited to do this video. It's something I've known to be in Berlin for quite a long time and wanted to get to. Nico was an actress, a model, a singer, a musician, a nomad, a multilingualist, and a beautiful soul, and this is like a little tribute video to her. I hope you enjoy, and yeah, if you do want to come here, the 218 bus, nobody really tells you on YouTube, I've noticed. I think people do, you can hike here, and that was the only option on Google Maps, as I've said, but hopefully it's just 10 minutes up here. But I hope everybody enjoys this video, and yeah. This is a right little magical mystery tour from Mitte in Berlin, which is where I'm staying, to here. I think it's 11 miles zum Friedhof, and I never would be here if it wasn't doing these videos. So it's interesting if you do YouTube videos and stuff, the places it takes you. Like a forest in Berlin. She's buried here with her mother, and Nico was born in Cologne but fled to Berlin with her mother when she was 2 years old, so she grew up in Berlin. Now, Nico, need to remember the way back, that's important. Nico had such a nomadic life. She grew up in Berlin and was discovered at Cardaway, the department store in Berlin. And if you've seen my Bowie in Berlin little video, although I haven't filmed Cardaway yet, that's where she was working. She was selling lingerie there, and she was kind of discovered there. Is this closed? No. Thank God. I had an absolute heart attack. It's a Sunday. I mean, who closes a cemetery on a Sunday? But I had a right heart attack. So yeah, Cardaway, which I haven't filmed yet, but I'm due to film. There's a lot of strikes in Berlin over the trains. So I'm still 90% sure I'll get there. But it's very quiet, very peaceful in here. So I'll try and keep my voice down. But that's where she was discovered, and I have no idea. she lived in Berlin, and then in the 60s when she was discovered and she was doing movies, she was in America through most of the 60s and the 70s. And in that time she had friendships and acquaintances with a lot of who's who of rock and roll. Brian Jones, I think she had an aborted baby with Brian Jones, and I've done a Brian Jones video in the past, and yeah, she was friends with Jim Morrison, and she was obviously recording with the Velvet Underground, which is what brings me here. That Velvet Underground and Nico album, God, I have no idea, is probably, is it the most influential album ever? I need to watch my footing as well, because this is like a forest wood. And she, much to the duress of Lou Reed and John Cale, Andy Warhol kind of forced them to record together. Is that right? Force is a strong word, I guess. But obviously she sung on lead vocal on All Tomorrow's Parties and I'll Be Your Mirror, and nope, I was hoping this would be easy. I'll be your mirror. But apparently, like when they were doing gigs and stuff, Lou Reed and John Cale were quite frustrated with the amount of time she took to get ready for the gigs, preparation. And yeah, they did continue to be friends and working together. I'm struggling here, guys. You might think it's unlike me I don't actually film me trying to find graves normally, do I? And you might be thinking he's given up early. It's kind of got to be careful with the buses, because I kind of in the middle of nowhere. Dr. Rudolf Ziegler. Gosh darn it. But John Cale and Lou Reed would work with her on some of her solo stuff, and her solo stuff's quite impactful. Desert Shore is one of Robert Smith's all-time favourite records, and she was a big influence on Susie and the Banshees and Morrissey. Oh my god, I found it. Here we go. She was a model. Seeing a picture of her has reminded me she's a model. Look how beautiful she is. Absolutely stunning. What did that say? Happy birthday, Nico. Little Santa. It's still quite well attended here. Again, I think if you watch my videos, I'm not popular on YouTube enough for you to watch them because it's me. So you're clicking on it because you know who they are. and who Nico is. But if you're not, how quiet it is in here. If you're not sure, it's almost impossible to tell you how influential that first Velvet Underground album is, which Nico features prominently on. I would say anyone since 1970 onwards who's in a rock and roll band has been influenced by that album. But yeah, Nico's grave. So that's Nico's grave behind me. Yeah, I'm not used to me without a beard either. If you need help locating this, I said in the intro about the bus. If you need any help, honestly, just message me. I'll try and help you. I was here in Berlin and I wanted to come here. So here's another tip. I think if you go through the entrance and you do a left, I've gone all the way around. I think, yeah, and this is kind of, must be where I came in. This is such a beautiful cemetery. Really peaceful. Most of them are, I guess. Yeah, I was in Berlin and I knew this was here. And researching it, I was like, I'm not going to be able to go. It's just too far if you haven't got a car. But honestly, it is easy if you do want to go. Just surprised how bad Google Maps was for it. So while I'm walking out, I'll read the Wikipedia entry about her death. She died in 1988 and she was in Ibiza. Did I finish the tale about her being very nomadic? I don't think I did I? After living in California in America, she lived in Salford in Manchester, basically. I don't know what any of these signs mean. Please, Peter. No, that's it. That's all I've got. Danke, thank you. Yeah, she lived in Spain. She could speak English, German, French, and Spanish. She lived in Paris, before America. But she was cycling. This is how she passed away. 18th of July 1988, during a holiday in Ibiza. She picked, well, I'll read a little extract from her son. In the late morning of July 17th, 1988, my mother told me she needs to go downtown to buy marijuana. Like lots of our 60s and 70s heroes, drugs were a big impact on her life. She'd become a heroin addict. And obviously there's a very famous Velvet Underground song off their Velvet Underground and Nico album called Heroin, but she always says she became an addict after her time in the Velvet Underground. I'm a bit scatty here, aren't I? I'm going everywhere. John Cale, Lou Reed and Nico would perform together in 1972 in Paris. And I believe that is on YouTube performance. Lou Reed does Berlin. Well, they did lots of Velvet Underground songs, and shit, which way did I come? Berlin's the title track of one of my favourite albums ever. I absolutely love that album. For all its darkness. Right, people. So, back to where I was. Going back to the entry by her son. She sat down in front of the mirror and wrapped a black scarf around her head. My mother stared in the mirror and took great care to wrap the scarf appropriately down the hill on a bike. I'll be back soon. She left in the early afternoon on the hottest day of the year. When she was found, she was misdiagnosed and she thought she was suffering from the heat. But she'd had a stroke and she passed away. She's buried here in the forest of Berlin because her mother is here. So, again, where this video started, it's just around the corner. And then to left here, Friedhof is cemetery in German. The do left, like really easy. If you Google Maps this, it looks really difficult. But I said about that at the start. Thank you so much for watching. Really interesting grave of somebody I first listened to when I was probably 14, 15 years old. And I think I'm not a musician. Well, I failed one, and it's untold the impact that the Velvet Underground and Nico's contributions had on most of music. Beautiful woman, beautiful soul, beautiful words, beautiful voice, and no longer with us. And yeah, really hope you enjoyed. And I've got another video in Berlin, so I hope you enjoy that. Take it easy, guys. Like and subscribe, and yeah, listen to Velvet Underground, and let's pray my bus is here soon. It's the only thing about coming here. Sunday as well, and there's a lot of strikes on.